Alright, so this delightful little machine is the bagless Dirt Devil Breeze. It's exactly the same thing as the Featherlite in the same body style, except the Breeze is the fancy one that has the body-colored handle instead of the black plastic handle. So this is very similar to the F1 Featherlite that I was talking about that I still want to track down. And these, very similar to the bagged Featherlite that I did a video on earlier, have been completely replaced by a new and cheapened Breeze and Featherlite twin set, depending on the store that you go to. So this is the, I don't want to say original one, but because technically the original ones of these would be the original Vision Light and Featherlite that derived their name from that, but this is the one that's been running for the longest and that just got replaced. So these, again, like the Featherlite, the bagged Featherlite, they're very cheap machines. These have a horrid habit of going through 4 or 5 belts about as quickly as what a Eureka would an RD belt in my home, which is kind of sad. But it's a really great little machine. So, I mean, Eureka, especially with their airspeed machines, and a lot of other companies have been spouting, and I think Oric really started that, but like direct air paths. You know, the shorter the path that the airflow in the dirt has to travel, the better, because you know, it's less complicated, it's less prone to clogs, and you're going to have you know, less kind of die-off of airflow and suction as it goes on further and further. So this is about the most simplistic air path I've ever seen on a bagless machine. So dirt comes in from the nozzle, goes in through this very wide, short hose, goes back into this spine, much like in Oric, up, and into the canister. And then you've got this F1 filter, and a lot of people, the UK members on Vacuum Land kind of hate on these, that they got as a Vax, and the US members hate on these. And I really don't get it for a couple reasons. Out of all, like, the filtered bagless machines that came out around this time, especially the very cheap ones, this seems to be the best system to me. Because the F1 filter, the way it's set up in that cone shape, has always created pretty damn good cyclonic action for just a machine with an uncovered filter in the dust cup. It's a very large filter, and it has a lot of filter area to trap more dust and keep airflow more efficient. And on top of all that, it's incredibly easy to clean. This is the only filter I've ever seen, pleated filter like this, where you truly can just take another machine's crevice tool and vacuum it off very quickly, just basically one pass at a time, over however many pleats the crevice tool will cover, and everything gets pulled out. Every other filter, especially the smaller ones that I've had, you have to pull pleat by pleat apart by hand to clear everything out. Be it the Elite that I use, the Eureka Lightspeed, like the Sanitaire that I just showed before this, it takes maybe 30 seconds, a minute to completely clean this filter like new again. So that's my real reason for liking this. So I'm going to run this and give you guys a quick idea of it. Forewarning, the belt is stretched and I have not replaced it. I don't think I have an extra on hand, so I'm not really going to bother with it. But yeah, I've been really impressed and very happy with these little machines and their performance, for the fact that they cost, you know, like $50-$60 originally when they were new. The only thing that's kind of a pain is to use the attachments, because there are attachments on board. You have to pull this off. It's very much like an old Elite. You just have to pull this off. You connect this hose into here. So all your tools do ride on board, but you just have to attach the hose before you ever use them. And then you've got Same setup of tools as the bagged Featherlite that I showed earlier. Only problem is this was a floor demo from a vacuum shop that was lightly used, so it's missing its upholstery and dusting tool, but not really a big loss. They're kind of crappy tools. So here we go. So this is kind of what partially impresses me and annoys me at the same time with these machines. It's a double-edged sword, basically. You've got a... I don't truly know if it's the automatic height adjustment that causes that, or if it's the brush roll, or a combination of the both. It's probably a combination of the both, but you've got... the bristles on this are odd. They're not stiff. They're not all that stiff. They're pretty soft, but they're very dense, and they create a lot of resistance against the carpet, which means they clean very well, but probably between these bristles and the automatic height adjust contribute to burning through a lot of belts on these. And I mean, I can use these type of machines maybe 4 times, 5 times in my house before the belts are just kind of shot, much like a sanitaire. What I do like about these, so I've just been over this exact section of rug probably 5 times now today alone with what I've recorded previously, and granted quickly, but all those other machines were in better condition and had better belts on them. This one was completely stretched, and it pulled up that hair and that grit and fine dust that you can see, hopefully, along the bottom edge there. So I've been really impressed with how well these can deep clean. They always pull up a lot of pet hair when I use them, and more importantly, again, they pull up a lot of grit and a lot of dust like that. What I'm actually going to do is, if I can find, once I'm done with the other videos I'm going to do, if I can find a belt for this, I'm going to put the belt on and then go around in the areas where I know I put capture down and where the floor has been vacuumed multiple times with the clear track, a wind tunnel, that Eureka Lightspeed sanitaire that I showed you, and even the Kirby Avalier. And go back over with this and see if it can actually pull more capture out, because I think if there's any machine that could do that, it would be this. Because this has insane amounts of airflow, and you can feel that just by what blows out of the front. If you've ever been near one of these, you know what I'm talking about. So, yeah. I shall be back with that, hopefully, if I can find a belt. So, I did find a new belt for the Dirt Devil. This is the old one on the top, and the new one on the bottom, so there's not really going to be a way for me to show you this well while holding the camera, but I don't know, these Dirt Devil belts, it doesn't seem like they have to stretch out all that much to lose efficiency. They have to be almost perfectly tight, which I think that's part of the failure. So I'm wondering if it would be possible to find, like, well, not possible, but if it would work if I found a belt of similar size, but maybe a little bit skinnier to go on and play. So if anyone knows of anything like that that's similar to Dirt Devil Style 4 or 5 that'll last longer in one of the 4 or 5 machines, please let me know. And I'm going to put this on, and I'll be back in a minute, and we'll go around and see what this can pull up. Just another very quick tip before I start the demo. If you have one of these, I would suggest trying to stay away from EnviroCare F1 filters if you need a replacement. Normally I'm okay with their stuff, but these just don't fit securely. I've had mine completely fall off or slip off multiple times. not even while emptying it, I've just had it somehow lift up in the machine while the machine was running. And I've not been very fond of it. So either find a better generic replacement, which I don't know if one really exists, or get a genuine one, because you can find the genuine ones on eBay for pretty cheap if I remember correctly. Okay, so new belt is on. I've got the disgusting and discolored original filter that this came with, just because it's genuine Dirt Devil and it fits so much better than the generic EnviroCare that I had. And I'm just going to go over everywhere I put that capture, which it's a pretty big area spanning most of the house, so I might speed this up or might cut some of this out, but I'll show you as much as I can. So here we go. Alright, so this is the living room, and this was the first main area where I put that capture, and sure enough, it didn't get a lot, but all that white powdery crap in there is indeed capture. And there's fur. And now what makes me impressed on this, and yes, there is the whole thing of, and I will completely agree with that, the vacuum that goes last wins. But what I'm impressed with is this entire area was vacuumed, well, the entire house, I should say, was vacuumed last night with the Kirby. It was vacuumed this morning by the Nito that I've got that runs around my house. It's an XV21. And I'm just always amazed. I was talking about this earlier in the review. I'm amazed with how, no matter what I do or how well I clean, I can always set these down and use one of these machines on my carpeting and pull up, you know, quite an impressive load of shit for cleaning with a machine that's a lot better, and ending up with this. So, I mean, good on you, Dirt Devil.